Class 2, we have to start. Generally, some of the schools won't teach also. Some of the schools won't teach it. Last three
This is,
chapters they won't teach.
and
What?
this biology.
This is biology, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
EVS under EVS, but they have considered
Yes,
under
ma'am.
biology also. Okay, fine. So our environment, what do you mean by environment? Environment, that is anything in our surrounding, is called environment. Everything in our surrounding, which includes living things as well as non-living things, is considered as environment. So everything on this earth, which consists of living things also and non-living things also, all of them are considered as an environment. Now the interaction between these two, so living things needs non-living things for its survival, and non-living things' existence is completely affected by living things. So that interdependencies is called as ecosystem. Ecosystem, that means at any place, if any living things are surviving in that area, if they are surviving, that is because of the non-living factors also responsible for that. Just like oxygen is available at one place, then only the person will survive. Any living organism can survive. In a dense forest, if a person will go near the volcano, is there any possibility of any survival of a living things? No, not possible. Not possible at that place. If there is, because there is a more amount of carbon monoxide and oxides of sulfur are present. So that in that area, the living organisms cannot survive. So for the survival of living organism, some abiotic factors, that is non-living things are necessary. Just like for our survival, we need oxygen. Then the plants need carbon dioxide, nitrogen is needed. Many minerals the plants are taking from the soil, they need it. So those actually directly, those minerals we are not taking. We don't have that process to directly take those all nutrients. So we are taking the indirect form of all those non-living things in the by converting them into organic form. So plants are that purpose. Plants are for that purpose. Plants use those inorganic substances, that is the non-living things, gases, soil, water, they are using it, converting that inorganic substances into organic substance, and that are in the form of organic substance, living things, other living things are utilizing it for energy formation. So this way, for the sustenance of life, non-living things are necessary, and for amount of that non-living things in this environment is constant because of some living thing factor. So that amount of non-living things remain constant on this earth, that you have learned last year in biogeochemical cycle. Now this chapter you are learning how living things are dependent on each other. That is your learning. Last year you have done seen the ecosystems as interaction between the non-living things, the percentage of non-living things, that is a important nutrients in the environment, how it is kept constant, that you have learned last year in natural resources, in that biogeochemical cycle, nitrogen cycle, oxygen cycle, carbon dioxide cycle, you have learned water cycle, you have learned. This year now ecosystems is biotic component part we are learning. So interdependencies between biotic factors that we have to learn. So ecosystem is the interdependencies between the living and non-living things, that is biotic and abiotic factor, that is called as ecosystem. Components of ecosystem, living things and non-living things. Living things are biotic factors and non-living things are considered as a abiotic components. Biotic components, that is organic substances, organisms, living things, and abiotic factor component, that means the non-living things. It's clear? These are there. Then abiotic factor, that is non-living things which make the abiotic components, that is air, water, soil will come under gases, air, that is gas will come under air only, water, soil. So these are all abiotic factors, and the biotic factors are the organisms. So all the living things are present on this earth will considered under biotic components. Out of that we are divided into three parts. The producers which produce food, that means they use inorganic substances, convert them into organic substances, are comes under producers part. Consumers which are utilizing organic substances, so they feed on organic substances only, all will come under consumers, whether they are omnivorous, carnivorous, herbivorous. They are utilizing organic components, organic nutrients they are taking. They cannot take inorganic substances, they are all taking organic substances. Though all those animals and other living things will come under consumers. They're consuming the food produced by producers. And then finally the decomposers, the bacteria, fungi, then it is protozoans, microorganisms. Simply microorganisms will come under decomposers. Okay, simple factor, write down this part. Then further we have to study the biotic factor dependencies, that is food chain and food web. Completed.
Just a minute, ma'am.
Complete.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Yes.
can we tell biotic components are dependent on abiotic component?
Yes, they are always. Okay, next is we have to see the water food chain and food web. Food chain is the representation, simple representation of interdependencies between biotic factors. Different organisms are dependent on each other for food, that is for organic substances, nutrients. So that simple representation of that interdependencies, interactions between the animals, plants, decomposers, that representation is called as food chain. Food chain is a straight line connections. So here, representation of interdependencies between biotic components is said to be food chain. So food chain is a simple representation of transfer of energy from the sun to different biotic components of an ecosystem. So it represents the energy flow diagram. It actually explains us energy flow diagram. So how energy moves from sun to different organisms. That simple representation is called as food chain. This is simple, one way. This is a one-way diagram. So this is the food chain having three levels, here four levels, and this is the example of five levels. So here first component of every food chain is a first level organisms are producers. So they intake sunlight, solar energy, and then convert that and then nutrients and convert them into organic substances. The food is produced by producers. Now that food is eaten up by the herbivorous animals. So all the herbivorous animals are eating food, so they will come under primary consumers. So these are eaten by the secondary consumers. Secondary consumers are eaten by the tertiary consumers. Tertiary consumers are eaten by the fourth level consumers. So on. So here the three level food chain is explained. That is, corn is eaten by the rat, and rat ultimately eaten by the owl. Only three levels. Here there are four levels. Carrots eaten by the rabbit. Rabbit is eaten by the fox, and fox is eaten by the lion. Then five levels. Grass is eaten by the grasshopper. Grass is producing food. So that food indirectly taken by the grasshopper. Grasshopper when eaten up by the frog. So it is food is transferred, energy is transferred. Frog is eaten by the python, that is snake, and then snake is eaten by the eagle. So this is a five level of food chain. These are all terrestrial food chain. There are aquatic food chain also. So in a water also the animals are surviving. So the food chain is present in that one also. Question is asked, explain, give example of one aquatic food chain. So you need to know aquatic food chain. So that is a very well-known example is aquatic food chain is phytoplankton. Phytoplankton, small microscopic algae. Phytoplankton. Then zooplankton. Zoo word is used for animals, small microscopic animals which survive on this algae are comes under zooplankton, or small organisms, smaller organisms. Then these organisms are eaten by the big fish, and small fishes are eaten up by the big fishes. Big fishes are eaten by the shark or a whale. So that will come under this. So five levels of food chain can be explained like this. Clear? And then what is food web? Food web is, it is not possible that is only this much chain is possible always. What happens if the fox are not there in that forest? The lion will starve to death. That won't happen. So he has to search for the other. If it is fox is not available, it will start searching any other animal. So like that, many food chain actually in practical, there are many food chains are interlinked with each other. So they have combined with each other. So they have formed one network. So that network is called as food web. So when many food chains are linked together, so if the grasshopper will eat grass, if it is this corn is not available, will it this will die? No, it is looking for different grasses, different types of grasses will look for. Butterfly, if it is not getting a one flower, roses it won't get. Does it this will die?
No, ma'am.
It won't get
No,
food.
ma'am.
So it will start surviving on the other flower, other types of flowers. It will go and search it. So it is not dependent on only one type of a flower. It is, there are multiple flowers it is dependent on. So that is here one food chain. You can see corn, grasshopper eaten by the rat, rat is eaten by the python, python is eaten by the eagle. If this is not possible, then corn eaten by the grasshopper, grasshopper can be eaten up by the frog, frog is eaten by the snake, snake is eaten by the eagle. Even here you can go through, this is if the frog won't get grasshopper, so it will start eating butterfly. So the on from the flowers, butterfly survive, butterfly is eaten by the frog, frog is either eaten by the snake or it is eaten by the eagle directly. Butterfly is eaten by the dragonfly, dragonflies are eaten by the either frog or either any bird, carnivorous bird it is eaten by the carnivorous bird. So this bird is either eaten by the wolf, it may be eaten by the lion, it may be eaten by the eagle, vultures, anything is possible. So many food chains have been interlinked with each other. So they are linked, many food chains can be linked together. So when these are linked together, they will form a extensive network. So that full thing is considered as a food web. Clear food chain, food web difference?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then 10% law we have to learn energy flow, and 10% law we have to learn. So write down this definition of food chain and food web. An example. Don't draw anything, only write the names of them in one order. Don't try to draw. Done.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, done. No need to explain the food web diagram. A food web is not needed. Next is energy flow. So energy flow is the first you need to know the water trophic levels. So when food chain is represented, every component of the food chain is called as trophic levels, different trophic levels. So this is the first part, first organism in the food chain. So therefore it is a first trophic level. Grasshopper will come under second trophic level. Frog will come under third trophic level. Snake is fourth trophic level, and eagle will come in a fifth trophic levels. So trophic levels, that means the different levels of different components of any food chain is called as trophic levels. Here the aquatic food chain. Phytoplankton, zooplankton second trophic level, small fishes third trophic level, larger fishes, big fishes fourth trophic level, shark will come under fifth trophic levels. When now position, trophic level, it is a position an organism occupies in a food chain. Each link in the chain represents one trophic level. So every link from one to other is considered as a one trophic levels. Okay. Now energy flow. So when one organism is eaten by the second organism, along with food, the energy is transferred. Food is eaten. That means what? We are eating plants. We are getting the components of food, carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Ultimately, what we get from that? What we get ultimately from that food?
Energy.
Energy. So that means after eating plants, we got energy. Carnivorous animals eat the herbivorous animals. What they get? Meat they have eaten. That means they have used that meat for as a source of energy. So they obtain energy from that. Clear? So the energy, when one organism is eaten by the another organism, the energy is transferred. So that energy transfer representation is called as energy flow. Then there is an energy flow. It has a 10% law. So what does this mean, 10% law? So whenever energy, solar energy, it is actually the energies what we get. Those are the types of the parts of solar energy. So whatever the food we are getting by respiration, we get the heat energy. So that heat energy is actually the part of solar energy. How? Because the plants are utilizing solar energy and convert it into organic food. So that organic food, when we eat it, we are digesting it, and then ultimately it is at the time of respiration, that is oxidation of that food takes place, and then we get energy. And whatever the work is done by us, that is by utilizing that energy. So that energy is the indirect form of solar energy. So here what happens? The solar energy is when it falls on the plants, they obtain whatever the amount is fallen down on those plants, they will get only 1% of it. They are able to absorb only 1% of energy. Then using that energy, they convert inorganic substances into organic substances. That is a photosynthesis process. They prepare food by utilizing that energy. Now they use 90% of that energy by themselves, and only for the when next organism is eaten by the plants eaten by the second level of organism, second tropic level, they will get only 10% of energy. So when we eat plants, that plant, whatever the amount of energy they have, we will get only 10% of it. So second tropic level organisms will get only 10% of the energy available in grass. When grasshopper is eaten by the frog, so how much ever amount of energy the grasshopper has, out of that only 10% will frog get. So frog is getting again 10% of the energy what grasshopper has. When frog is eaten by the snake, snake will get only 10% of that energy, and remaining 90% is frog has used for itself, for growth, for repairing cells, for its physical activities it has used up. So only 10% of energy will be given to the snake. Snake will get only 10%. When snake is eaten by the eagle, eagle will get only 10% of it. So this way, the energy transferred from one tropic level to next tropic level is only 10% of the energy is transferred. So here, if you take example, I've written an example here. Sunlight. If 1 million joules of sunlight is available, it falls on the plants, plants will get only 1%. Plants can absorb. They have the property of absorbing only 1% of that energy. So they will absorb 1%. That means this two gets cancelled. That is 10,000. So 10,000 joules of energy only plants have used up. Now out of 10,000, 9,000 they will use for themselves. Only 1,000 is transferred to the grasshopper when grasshopper eats that plant, that grass. Now out of 1,000, 900 joules of energy is used by the grasshopper. Only 100 joules will be transferred to the rat. So when this grasshopper is eaten by the rat, rat will get only 100 joules of energy. And when rat is eaten by the eagle, eagle will get 10% of that only, that is 10 joules of energy. And now if this eagle is also eaten by some other organism, then it will get how much amount of energy?
1 joule.
1 joule of energy is only available to them. So this is the reason why there are 3 to 5 tropic levels are present in any food chain. Any food chain has only 3 to 5 tropic levels. More than that is not possible, because the amount of energy left for the after fifth level will be negligible. So that organism cannot survive on that much amount of energy. Is it clear? So therefore, there are 3 to 5 tropic levels are possible in any food chain, not more than 5. Because the sixth one cannot survive, because it will get only very less amount of energy. Are you able to understand this?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so remember, from sunlight, whatever the amount of energy falls on the plant, plants are able to take only 1%, and further after 10% transfer. So don't forget, don't get confused with the solar energy to plant, sunlight to plant, sun to plant. Energy transfer is only 1%. It's clear? So another example is given here, the primary consumer. So here you remember, you check that is the structure is shown by the pyramidal structure. It is a pyramidal structure. Energy flow is explained by a pyramidal structure, because amount of energy available to the second level is lesser than the first level. From second level to third level, amount of energy available is only 10%. So there is amount of energy reduces. So therefore it is decreases. Again decrement, again decrement. So therefore this explanation is shown by energy flow diagram is always represented by a pyramidal structure. Decreasing upward. The steps are decreasing upwards. It's clear? Is this point clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Energy 10% law they have asked, and there is a numerical is also asked. If the rat has 100 joules of energy, has got it from eating grasshopper, then how much amount of energy available to the plants? So you need to calculate that calculation for 2 marks they have asked. Okay, and if the plants has absorbed 10,000 joules of energy, how much energy is available to eagle? This one will be given. This structure means that food chain will be given to you. So whether it has 3 levels or whether it has 4 levels.
But that picture will be without that values of that like 1 million joule and
Yeah,
without that.
it is only one level is given. You have to calculate all the other levels. Other levels you have to calculate. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So write down 10% law. Tropic level, first definition of tropic level. Example. Draw this chart. And then energy flow, 10% energy. 10% law.
Ma'am, I had a doubt. So the trophic level can go up till any point, or should it only like stop
3
at
to
the
5 maximum.
Okay.
That's what just now I told. Because energy will not be available further
Okay.
after.
Okay.
And this flowchart also you draw without these animals.
Ma'am,
Hmm?
ma'am, suppose instead of rose, if there is some animal, ma'am,
Hmm. It's not possible animal instead of rose is there.
no, ma'am,
It should
like
be a producer.
in another food change, like
Another food chain, the first level is only plants.
yes, ma'am, like if rat eat rose, it'll be more. He'll get more energy than
Yeah,
grass.
yes. All herbivores have more energy. All herbivorous animals will get more energy.
So, ma'am, like if eagle eat grasshopper, he'll get more energy than rat, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, so like if humans,
Hmm.
if we eat chicken or something, will
Energy
10%?
less. Energy is less.
Plant.
Okay. But they tell us like fish and all is like healthier than like all these vegetarian food, like a few
We
of.
are talking about energy, not nutrients.
Oh, okay, makes sense.
We are only talking about right now speaking about only energy.
Oh yeah.
How much amount of energy we are getting. So the nutrient part is different.
Okay.
So that's healthy because there are nutrient levels. Amount of nutrients present in that which are helpful for the growth.
Okay, ma'am.
Completed?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, so energy and nutrients are not related.
How it will be related? Tell me.
No, I'm just asking. I have a doubt.
That's what I'm checking you. It's a simple thing. So general knowledge. What are nutrients means? What do you mean by nutrients?
Like, like vitamins, minerals, and all. They are nutrients.
Carbohydrates, fats, protein, all
Proteins.
ions,
Vitamins and minerals.
sodium, potassium, ions. So all these
Yeah.
ions are nutrients, vitamins, minerals. Minerals with means what? All these ions. So these are all nutrients. So this we get it from food. And by utilizing that, so these are for building up, not only for energy requirement, they are using it, they have been used for different purposes. Building up the cells. They helps to form cells. And energy is used, energy is the different part. It is completely a energy is a heat energy which is used for different things, that is not for cell formation. The transportation energy is required, for movement of our body energy is required, for information transfer through the neurons they need energy. To walk, to run, to jog, you need energy. So that will come from nutrients.
Yes, ma'am.
Completed?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So what is there next? Biological magnification. Okay, so in this one, 2-3 questions are there. First one is 10% law. The second one is this percentage, the amount of energy available to the different trophic levels. They will ask you the questions. I will give you questions next class. Those questions I will give you, so you can find out the values. One thing. Now next is here, the energy flow is unidirectional. It's not bidirectional. Why? But the nutrient flow is cyclic.
Ma'am, what's the meaning? Like
Unidirectional means what? Uni means
going in one direction.
flow. So energy flows in one direction. Give reason.
Because of the 10% law.
Energy flow is unidirectional, not 10% law. What do you mean by
No,
this statement?
Ma'am, it means that like the 10% of the energy which is gained by that living organism is it flows in only one direction throughout the body.
For the body.
In a sense, throughout.
We are considering from one animal to another animal, one organism to another organism, energy flow we are learning. Not in the inside the body, we are not learning. Why it is so? Depriya?
Mom, because when the uh, light energy is captured by the autotrophs, ma'am, it does not revert.
Yeah, obviously. That is only the reason. It is unidirectional, that means it is only moving in one direction. That means the energy obtained by the plants will transfer to grasshopper. Will the plant get that energy back? Is it possible
No,
that is
ma'am.
from the grasshopper the energy will come back to the plants?
No, ma'am.
No, it won't come, but nutrients can come. Is it possible that a nutrient from grasshopper can come back to plants again? Is it possible?
Yes, ma'am.
How?
No,
When the
ma'am.
plant is dead,
From grasshopper
sorry,
to
sorry.
plant.
When grasshopper is dead, the this thing.
Yeah, when the
Yeah,
grasshopper is die, microorganisms works on them. So they breaks
by the
down that grasshopper into simplest nutrients. Those will move into the soil. Plants will use that soil. Nutrients from the soil. Not to the same plant. It will go to the other plants, but it will come back to the plants. Okay. Now, when grasshopper is eaten by the rat, rat will get the energy. So, is it possible from the rat the grasshopper will get the energy?
No,
It
ma'am.
won't
No,
come
ma'am.
back. So, it is energy will
No, ma'am.
transfer from only solar energy to plant, plant to grasshopper, grasshopper to rat, and rat to eagle. It won't come back again. So, therefore, energy flow is unidirectional. But the nutrient flow is cyclic. So when nutrients by the plants will obtain the nutrients from the soil, so those nutrients will remain stored. When plants is eaten by the grasshopper, grasshopper will get that nutrients. When grasshopper is eaten by the rat, rat will get those nutrients. But when these grasshopper, rat or eagle die, they decompose by different microorganisms, and those microorganisms end those one lose this one give back those nutrients into the soil, and on that soil if the plants grow, so the plants will get that nutrients back. So therefore nutrient flow is cyclic, but energy flow is unidirectional. It's clear? This is one question. Second question is every food chain has 3 to 5 tropic levels, not more than that. That part clear? Why it is 3 to 5 only, not more than that? Because of 10% law. So energy transferred from one trophic level to second trophic level is only 10% of energy is available for the second trophic level. Second to third, only 10% is available. So after 3 to 5 trophic levels, amount of energy available to the next generation, next trophic level will be negligible. And therefore, that organism cannot survive on that much amount of energy. So therefore, any food chain has 3 or 5 trophic levels. Is that clear? One more question on this part, which is asked, and these are all questions of boards. The next one is aquarium in any house, artificial aquariums we keep at home. So that is the fishes. Fishes we keep it at home, aquariums. So that need to be cleaned every time. Weekly we need to clean them. But ponds, natural lakes, cleaning needed?
No, ma'am.
No.
Why? What is the difference between them? Why it's so? So this aquarium need to be cleaned weekly or every time regularly, but ponds and lakes are not needed.
Ma'am, because there are organisms in the in the ponds which can clean by themselves. Like they take all of the
And why not in aquarium?
because we can't
Ma'am, aquariums are artificial ecosystems.
Yeah, they are artificial ecosystems. So in that only the animals are present. They don't have decomposers. Decomposers are not present in artificial aquariums. But in ponds, there are decomposers are present. So those are decomposing the waste generated. The waste generated is feces or dead organisms. So dead organisms or feces given up by the these all animals has been decomposed with the help of microorganisms, and these microorganisms are present in ponds, natural lakes, but in artificial ecosystem, that is in artificial aquariums, these decomposers are not present. So that to be manually, it has to be cleaned time to time to remove all those nitrogenous waste. Otherwise, that will harm the animals, fishes. Is that clear? This is one of the question asked. Okay, fine. So we'll stop here. We'll continue Monday, the same chapter, and I will give you the numericals on this part, 10% law. Okay. Then there is a biological magnification, one part, then ozone layer depletion and waste generation, waste management system. Only that much part in this chapter. Okay.